We finally have some good news coming out of Old Trafford. Read the headlines around me. Luke Shaw is returning from injury. He's coming back to the Manchester United first team after that long injury layoff, and this is really good news. He could be back as soon as the Everton game this weekend. He is supposedly in contention to start, and that is obviously brilliant news for Erik ten Hag and Manchester United for a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons being, Luke Shaw is just a phenomenal player, and last season I labelled him as one of United's most important players under Erik ten Hag. We also know that he's pure quality when we look at his stats. I mean, just look at this FBref report. Passes completed, the 91st percentile. Progressive passing distance, the 96th percentile. Pass completion for medium range passes, the 94th percentile. So those numbers just kind of quickly capture how good Luke Shaw is as a footballer. But when it comes to Shaw and his importance to this side, it goes so much further than just stats. So let's take a look at why this is such a big boost to Ten Hag and his Manchester United side.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
Now, one of the main reasons that the return of Luke Shaw is such a boost to Erik ten Hag is because of Luke Shaw's versatility. Manchester United have had an injury-hit squad for all of the season so far. Having a player which can play in a few different positions will be vitally important to go some way to addressing that. Particularly because we know that if needed, Luke Shaw can play as the left centre-back, and this position has been a talking point so far this season. Maguire isn't favoured there, so he plays right centre-back, keeping Rafael Varane out of the side. That therefore means that one of Jonny Evans or Victor Lindelof have to play as the left centre-back, but those two are both also right-footed footballers. Bringing Luke Shaw in at left centre-back, which Ten Hag could do, would massively improve United's ability to play out from the back and play out under pressure due to the fact that he is left-footed. And it's actually really simple. Let's say Lindelof's got the ball here, right? And the forward for the opposition is going to force Lindelof to play the ball backwards. Luke Shaw being left-footed in this position, and we'll put a bit of rotation on him like this. Luke Shaw being left-footed in this position, as this ball comes backwards, it is so much easier for him on his left foot just to get this ball sweeping up the pitch. And this doesn't just apply to Luke Shaw, any left-footed centre-back in this position. His ability to sweep this ball forward. Whereas if he was right-footed, he would want to turn, receive the ball on this foot, and get the ball across his body. This just instantly invites pressure from the opposition, and it's an issue which Harry Maguire has when he plays in left centre-back. It's why Jonny Evans and Lindelof are typically preferred, but they're still not great in this position because, again, they're right-footed, they're not left-footed. Luke Shaw being naturally left-footed will be a huge advantage in this area. It will also be a huge advantage a little bit further up the pitch as well, when trying to break down like a low block, for example. The fact that Luke Shaw can pass through the lines will be vitally important. So let's say United are building, let's put them in a 2-3 shape real quick like this. So United are building in a 2-3-4-1 shape. Now when we have a right footer here, looking to play the ball through the lines against a low block, you would see the ball being on the player's right foot here, which means a right footed pass is going to go here. Which is always naturally going to be the side that the defender is naturally looking to defend because it's closer to goal. Whereas the second that you put a left footer in, and you change the angle slightly, they want to put the ball this side, which naturally gives you really good half-turn potential. If you now imagine this was someone like Mason Mount receiving the ball, getting on the half-turn, feeding Rashford, would see a much smoother process down this side of the pitch if Luke Shaw does play as the left centre-back. It also creates a more natural passing lane to the fullback as well. And more importantly, a passing lane which makes it easier to complete the pass, allows Lindelof to step forward with the ball, but also keeps the ball away from this player here. So again, let's imagine this is a right footer. What is the natural arc of pass from a right-footed left centre-back to a left-back? It's like this. That sort of path, right? On the right foot, like that. Now what this does is it means that the first touch here is always going to be quite a stationary one, but also we can see that kind of line of the pass is almost inviting this player to go and intercept it. Whereas the second that we open our body up a little bit more and play the ball left-footed, we play a ball which the player can step onto and go with the momentum of the ball, the direction of the ball, step onto it, but also it's keeping it further away from this player here because the pass is bending out this way, away from the player. Again, this is a really small detail, but it's something which Luke Shaw, being left-footed, would bring to this United side if he is used at centre-back. Initially, it's that ability to play out from the back, under pressure, being left-footed, the angles suit him much more playing this way, but also higher up the pitch is this ability to play the ball through the lines like this, the ability to play the ball down the line. Luke Shaw would bring a lot to the side in this way. And also, when United get caught on the counter-attack, Luke Shaw is also naturally a good wide defender because he is traditionally a fullback. meaning that again he's a player who can cover a lot of spaces, so therefore if Luke Shaw returns to the side and gets used as a centre-back, he will be a massive boost for Erik ten Hag. However, he could also be used in his more natural position as a left-back, which again would have a lot of bonuses. Now for me personally, I think Luke Shaw is one of the best natural left-backs in world football on his day. Now, yes, his day is perhaps not as regular as we would like. He does have spells of inconsistency. For example, before his injury, he didn't actually start the season that well. However, put him in a left-back position, give him a chance to get his fitness up, his sharpness up, and you should see a player which flourishes and really stands out from the rest of the United players. One of the reasons for that is because I would label him as the only player in this entire starting 11, apart from maybe Onana, who is press resistant. A player who can receive the ball under pressure and, deal with it. Being a left-back, most of the time, the trouble from the opposition is going to be coming in front of him, so he can see what's coming onto him. Luke Shaw is brilliant in these positions. He's also an excellent ball carrier, playing the ball through the pitch. Now, what Luke Shaw is also good at, again, being left-footed naturally helps this, is deep switches. And I genuinely think Luke Shaw is one of the most underrated technical players in the league. I think technically he is so proficient, he is so good on the ball. So, for example, let's say the opposition are crowding over one side to try and apply pressure. Luke Shaw is very good at getting the ball out in this sort of situation and just playing a nice switch to the other side. Importantly, he's also good at receiving that pass the other way around as well, because his first touch is very good, his control is very good. So if Dalot or Wan-Bissaka is able to play this pass, Luke Shaw is very good at getting the ball down. Technically, he's a very good player, which helps in these deeper phases. Like I've said already, from this position, he is also a brilliant ball carrier. Now, this is something which United really lack. If we're looking at midfield, do we see any true natural ball carriers? Maybe McTominay, but he's not someone who really gets on the ball a lot. The right wing, Anthony, not really someone who carries the ball large distances. Luke Shaw is a ball carrier, someone who progresses the ball through the first third, but also the second third, incredibly well. And this is why I think he's one of United's most valuable players, because what United have a lot at the moment is that the only way they can really progress the ball is with passing, because there's no one who can take a man on, beat a man, and carry the ball through the pitch. Luke Shaw can do that. He's one of the best deep ball carriers in the Premier League, in my opinion. I think he's absolutely brilliant at doing it. But not only is he really good at doing it, he's good at kind of choosing his moment when to do so. He recognises that sometimes he needs to play the pass off, but he also recognises at times, if this player comes out to him, that he does have the muscle, but also the technical ability to take that man on, beat him, and now move into a more dangerous position, get some time on the ball, from where United can then genuinely be creative. Now, of course, like I said, that isn't his only weapon in his arsenal, because he also has this brilliant ability to go a bit more direct over the top. And again, I think this is something which United have lacked, a weapon which just hasn't been there this season. When Lindelof has played there, he doesn't do this. When Reguilon has played there, he doesn't really do this. Luke Shaw loves to kind of arc this ball in behind the defence. He loves that little ball. Now, we didn't really see it in the first couple of games of the season, and I'm not too sure why. I think it's something that we need to see more, because having a striker like Rasmus Højlund, who, constantly wants to be on that last line, near the centre-backs, causing problems, having someone like Højlund getting on the end of this pass genuinely has a lot of potential. So I would like to see that more from Luke Shaw. So when he's back from injury, if he does play left back, I want to see that pass over the top more. Another pass he will look to utilise is the kind of disguised pass inside. So what he'll do initially, as this player comes out towards him, he'll sort of shape his body as though he's going to work the ball perhaps down the line into the feet of Marcus Rashford. But then at the last second, as this player kind of shifts across to intercept that pass, he'll then quickly cut it back and now be looking in the pitch. And again, I think this is something that United need. United progress the ball out wide relatively well at times. In the centre of the pitch, we don't see it so much. It mainly comes from the centre-backs. Luke Shaw has the ability to kind of bait this sort of pressure like this, then go inside the pitch, which again I think is something which United drastically need. Luke Shaw is one of the only players which brings this. But not only can he do it into the midfield, he can also do it into the striker as well. So let's say the movement of someone like Christian Eriksen is good to move this man. Luke Shaw is very capable of playing this pass now into Rasmus Højlund. Now if we get runners round him, suddenly United can look more dangerous. And it all comes because Luke Shaw is a very good progressive player, and probably the best progressive player in this United side apart from Lisandro Martinez. Maybe even more so than Lisandro Martinez. He's so important in this way. The other reason he's important is because, as we know, he's a left back which wants to get forward and join the attack. That, of course, is something which we know Marcus Rashford has been missing on a regular basis. Reguilon, when he plays, has done it occasionally, and I think those have been Rashford's better games. But when Rashford's been stuck with someone like Lindelof at left back, for example, or even Dalot, who typically wants to invert, Rashford has found himself quite isolated this season. Getting Luke Shaw down the left-hand side, if Christian Eriksen continues to play, it does reunite this brilliant trio from last season, which done so well. So Luke Shaw's ability, not only is he going to affect the progressive nature of the team, he also might get better, or might get more out of players around him, just simply because of having that chemistry, that understanding of how his teammates play. Him and Marcus Rashford have struck up a really good relationship in the past, whether that be for United or for England. They're a really good duo that seem to really understand each other's game. I think Luke Shaw, even at times, brings the creative side out of Marcus Rashford with these overlapping runs, and then Rashford will play the through ball. I just think it creates a lot of potential to get Marcus Rashford back into form as well. That's why I think I would go for Luke Shaw at left back rather than centre back, for the attacking dynamic which he creates in the final third, the link up with Christian Eriksen, but also Mason Mount if he was to play, and of course Marcus Rashford, getting the best out of these guys. That is why I think the return of Luke Shaw is such good news. Why I was so excited when I've seen all these headlines over the past couple of days. I think it's really good news. I think Luke Shaw goes a long way to kind of reapplying the football which Erik ten Hag wants to play. Possession football, progressive football through the thirds, the ball being on the floor, on the pitch, rather than constantly in the air with long switches and things like that. I think Luke Shaw kind of represents the football that I think a lot of us want Manchester United to play. I think Luke Shaw really represents that, and that is why I am so excited about his return. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Perhaps you aren't as excited because his start to the season weren't great before injury. Let me know what you think in the comments. But apart from that, we are finished for today's video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.